Hey guys, and welcome back to the Hobby007 channel. A few days ago, if you remember, I released a video on a model that I found in my stash, which was this trike. And I enjoyed reviewing it and sharing it with you, and I'd mentioned in that video that I had found something else that I'm not exactly... I wasn't excited when I built it, but it was for a kit review for Scale Auto magazine. And I always love a good challenge. So I want to share that with you now. Stick around. As stated, when I found the trike, I also ran across something else very unusual, and that was the AMTronic. This was sent to me by Scale Auto magazine when I used to do kit reviews. And this was to be a build-up and a review. And if you remember that review, you probably remember I wasn't really all that kind about the fit and some of the stuff. I think the concept of the vehicle is very interesting and it's kind of cool. But there were parts of it that I wasn't all that fond of. But I want to share with you some facts about the AMTronic before I show you my build-up of it. And as interesting as it is, if you really took a lot of time, and you could probably make this into far more. And I'll share one of the ideas that I put in the article that someone actually took to heart. But before I open the box, let's take a look at it. This is a concept vehicle. You see the tires, and you also notice that the tires are where they would fold up, like you notice here on the front tires. The dual front tires would fold up and they would close like an aircraft landing gear doors. Same thing here. And on the passenger compartment, that is a separate attachment. And you see the airfoils back here, and they can be deployed or left flat. But let's get into the vehicle a little bit about it. The AMTronic. A multi-duty vehicle serving both as an in-town runabout, and I think they're talking about just this front part about that, as well as an ultra-high-speed inner-city transport. We had the nose wheel, the air intakes up front, the nose, I think that the front nose of the car, the computer panel, which I'll show you that in the instructions, it's hilarious. Video readout housing. I want to say this thing was put together in 1969. I think it's released in 1971 originally. The canopy, which was very unique, and we'll get to that. The front fan, the rear turbo fan. You notice the big engine here, and there's two turbines back here. And you had a video camera, a rear view video camera. This ahead of its time. The solar panel, upper lower trim tabs, all kinds of really cool stuff. But and then on the bottom of the box, you had another paint scheme and stuff that you could do for it. And again, it's a unique concept, but the kit itself, at least to me, there was a lot left to be desired. And well, let's just get into it and we'll take a look. This was just one of those things that the first thing in we see is this little visitor from the 21st century. And here we go. So we've got our front engine and alternator, the computer panel, and I want you to notice if you can, well, if I can hold it right, the cassette tape in the computer there, which was way ahead of its time. And you had dual rear drive turbines, your storage cells, so I'm assuming a lot of this was electric for sure. The high-speed, low-profile tires designed for AMTronic by Goodyear. Now, wall outlets that were in the passenger area of the cabin, so you had plug-ins back there, so you had wall outlets. And then here's your two pieces. You had your runabout, and then you had your passenger. This was a two-seater, by the way, which we'll see when we get into it. And then this had 4 seats, so you could accommodate 6 people there. Now, this is unique. The tires in the kits are like this. In this kit is like this. Notice here's the rim. And it's got the run flat air chamber. But this is the width of the rim. But look at the shape of the tire. It's kind of flat with the rim here, but it almost like a boot. So they were good boots. And you see that here's the rim in here, and then the sidewall kind of came out, kicked out right here. And like I said, the kit is like this. But this being a concept vehicle, and I'm not going to bore you by reading all of this stuff, but let me give you a few little highlights on it. I think this side's got more. Yeah, here we go, the AMTronic. The AMTronic was designed by AMT Corporation after an original concept of the AMTronic dual vehicle multi-engine design provided by a well-known Detroit-based industrial design firm. So it did come from the minds of Detroit automakers anyway. Let's see, there was something down here. Here we go. A full-size AMT or AMTronic would be 21 feet 8 inches long overall. So the whole length of the thing would be, well, that's longer than Cadillac, 21.8 inches long overall and 7 feet wide. The front of the car would have been, in other words, the runabout, that front cabin part would be 9 feet 6 inches and 54 inches wide. And here we go. Essentially, the vehicle is essentially a hovercraft driven by twin, turbojets at a cruising speed of approximately 300 miles an hour. Cool, huh? But, and I didn't have a problem with the kit. It was the fit that gave me fits. So we have a little history thing there, and then we get into the instruction sheet itself. And it's an interesting kit. And I don't think this thing's been released, based on what I could find on ScaleMates, but about 3 times. But here's the simplicity of the front engine assembly, turbine, alternator turbine thing. And you notice underneath the vehicle, you had this huge fan. We'll be looking at that when we look at the vehicle. The front gear, and there was a lot of moving parts on this thing, guys, because if you'll notice the pins here, they're rounded. These things were actually designed, the wheels were to fold up in. You could close all this stuff. All the doors, all the hatches were designed to close. And we'll get into that here in a minute when we look at the actual kit. Then you had the front wheel assemblies. This is a huge instruction sheet, guys, so I'm having to throw it around. Now the canopy is one piece, so you got to do a lot of masking and then paint it off, and I'll show you that. The steering wheel is very unique, to say the least, and we'll get to that. And the front seats, back window, the tail or the rear bulkhead, and the basic assembly there. There's your computer panel that goes in. A lot of unique stuff in this thing. And then here's your rear engine assemblies. And there are 2 of these. Assemble 2 engines. And this thing is kind of cool as far as the engine designs go. And again, I'm not slamming the design. Well, I shouldn't say the design. I'm not slamming the car, the uniqueness of it. I would have done it as a one piece, but oh, and there's your rear turbine or rear fan. But the fit is absolutely atrocious, and like I said, you could, if you spent a lot of time on this, you can make it into something really cool and unique. Your basic rear assembly, and then there's the rear seats. You had 2 facing this way, 2 facing aft. Then the kind of rear wing things there. And, wow, I'm knocking everything over. And then your rear passenger assembly, and then the display stand for it. But anyway, let's look at some parts, and then we're going to break out the actual kit and let you see it too. The windows came in clear as well as green. And I'm going to take this canopy out real quick. Now this is the green. I use the clear parts, but you could do the clear or the green tinted here in all of the windows all throughout. And I use the green, two of the small green ones on the front cockpit on the bottom end, but I'll show you that. But as you can see, you've got to mask all of this because this lower section here and up the center had to be painted. Which, the way it's rounded and all, it was a little bit of work, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But that's your front, and of course this raises. And that's your other windows. I'm probably going to have to change one of them because I lost, or I can't find one of the clear ones, which you'll see when we get to the car. I never really figured out where these go. That was, I guess, like tail lights lenses. But I never really saw that. I think it was in the instructions, but it didn't fit since I painted mine that color well, red, which you'll see in a minute. And here's the plaque that you display in front of it, I guess, or with the display base that comes with it. And it says AMTronic by AMT from the 21st century. And of course we've got, oh yeah, and then you've got extra of the wheel pegs there. And these are just what was released back then. By the way, this particular release was, let's take a look here. Sorry, I'm knocking the camera around again, guys. It doesn't say, I think this was 2012, to be honest with you. When this one was, I'm pretty sure it was 2012. And then you had the cardboard thing that you put together that you displayed it on. There's part of your futuristic looking backdrop and all of that stuff. And there's one of your clear. These went on the bottom as part of that turbine fan thing. And you also had those in the green as well. And you had the side wings. Since I did mine with them not deployed, these little side wings came out, and there was a little sensor that attached to the sides, which you'll see those in a moment. But I didn't have them deployed. I just had them, well, I didn't use them, obviously. I had them withdrawn into the vehicle. And then up front, as you saw on the front of the box, you had these little airfoils that came out. And they also folded into the vehicle, and then they came out the sides too. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's it. So let me reset the camera, guys, and let me show you this thing, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. And I'll try to be nice. Be back in just a second. Say hello to the AMTronic from AMT, the 21st century marvel. Hey guys, this thing was a unique build. It fought me all the way. The parts fit was absolutely atrocious. It's unique and it's kind of cool. I like the engines and all of that kind of stuff. I thought that would could be used in something else, but this was a nightmare. And it's been in the box since the kit review. I put it back in the box, and I'm not sure it's seen the light of day since. I didn't even dust it off because I don't know that you can improve the looks of this thing even by cleaning it up. It's just an atrocious fitting vehicle. But as I said in the review, if you took extra time with it, you could probably turn it into something nifty. And I even put the comment that if you wanted to make a unique spacecraft, shuttlecraft, something like that, this would be a perfect starting point. And I'll share something with you here in a minute. Here's some other pictures of some other renderings of different colors and things like that that people have done. And sorry about that. I've got the camera propped up on something and it keeps kind of bouncing a little bit for some reason. And we'll get some close-ups here in a second too. You've got a few unique things that I thought were pretty well thought out. Right back here, these two, I want to call them airfoils or something like that, are designed in. And then right down here below and on the ends of these is where those little wings popped out. and you can see the landing bay, or not landing bay, but the wheel wells here where the wheels fold up. And I'm going to take one of these off in just a second and show you what the wheels and those unique Goodyear tires look like. And these little step things here. Oh, and by the way, I told you I was missing a window. This rear window right back here, it's not in the box. I have no idea where it went. Maybe it ran away because the car's so ugly. I don't know. But this little step down here, if I can get my hand on it, of course it's moving. But that fold, well, it's moving. Well, anyway, you see these things fold up and down, and I'm not going to try to close them all the way because I'm afraid I'm going to break something off. And it's probably going to go right back in the box for the next 15 years or something like that. But it's unique. It had a little decal that came with it for the solar panel up here. And as you can see, that's kind of cool. And like I said, wow, I really should have dusted it off a little bit. Let me hang the camera here a second, and then I'll pick it up and show you a few other little things on it. Like I said, it's unique, but it is certainly, to me, it's kind of ugly, but let's look on the bottom first. I'll turn it over here. Whoa, there went the canopy. You can see where the wheels, well, if I can get enough light on it, where they fold up, and then you've got these little doors down here that fold in, again, like an aircraft's landing gears. And then you have your turbine fan there, and then one back here. So let's see if I can get it where they can get them both in the shot. There we go. And again, these, as you see, fold up and down. And let's take this one off. And you can see the tire, the little drum brake thing there, advanced. But I don't know if you can see the profile of that tire. Yeah, there you go. You can see how far that boot on this side kind of comes out. I hope you can. Very unique design on the tires. And again, you can see on the back side here, it's flat. I'm hoping I can get, I don't have enough light, I don't think. But it's flat back here, and then it does that little kick out thing that we looked at in the instructions as well. There is your twin turbine. Man, I just don't have enough light. Get this turntable out of the way. The twin turbine engines there, you can see up in them. And like I said, some of those are very well detailed, but as far as parts fit goes, nothing wanted to go together. You see the gap right there? It just, no matter how much I tried to keep this thing together, it was not an easy kit. The parts fit was rather ill. And I'd like to think that it was just my particular copy, but I don't think that was it. In the interior, you see the computer panel there. And these were just little like buttons or lights, so I stuck those up there, and then you've got the rear bulkhead there. And up in the, let's set this down a second. Inside the canopy part, you see, like I was saying, you have to mask this off. And look, you had a little drive-through window that you could, I guess if you're going 300 miles an hour, you had to have a window to open to hand the cop your license. And I'm hoping you can see the little instruments gauges up here. And check out the handlebar type steering system there. You had this green tinted little display up in there too. So it's unique. It's unique. But that, my friends, is the AMTronic. Let me get this little fender plug back on here real quick. We'll put the canopy back on, give you one more look. And guys, do me a favor. If you had a positive experience with this, oh, and I meant to tell you too, the see down here on this lower section, that's where I used, beside the canopy, the upper canopy, you've got a lower window there. I guess so when you're up in the air, you can see down where you're going. I don't know. I don't think this will happen in my lifetime. Who knows the way technology's going. All right. So get your camera back down. The AMTronic. And again, if you had a positive experience or unique thing, let me know. As we close, I'm going to show you a series of shots that someone made a Starfleet shuttle out of one of these things, and it is cool. I looked online to try to find the name of who did it because I wanted to give them a shout out, but I couldn't find it, and I guess if I dug around a little longer, I probably could have. But a unique vehicle, but not a kit that I recommend by any means. I told someone when I was building it, this is a very educational kit. It teaches children how to cuss. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I appreciate it very much. Got some great videos coming up, and believe it or not, I am back to building. I've been working on the a couple of different things, but I know Atlanta's coming up, and I'm gonna do a special video on what I'm gonna be working on that. I may have to set some stuff aside to get my Atlanta stuff finished, but got another update on the Drag Pack Challenger coming up too, the John Garlett's car that I was doing. Guys, thanks for tagging along. I appreciate you very much. Love you guys. God loves you, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.